Hey guys, Lawrence here. I just got done recording a bootleg Lego figure thing. If you want to check that out on the main channel, either it's up now and I'll leave a link to it. If it's not up yet, then, I'll add it later, or you can go and check out that channel if you're subscribed already. Odds are you probably are. Right now, I just wanted to talk about something I'm sure that a lot of YouTubers have talked about, and even the likes of Markiplier, about how YouTube's broken, as it were. And honestly, that's one of the main reasons I made the second channel, to kind of adapt about what's going to happen going forward. And I know that everyone's talking about this Article 13 thing, and I wouldn't worry about it, because what people seem to be glossing over, try and get those clicks, is that this isn't a law that's going to be imposed in January 2019. It's a directive. It's the suggestion by the European Union to just say, hey guys, we think you should do this. And it's up to each individual company and each individual country to come up with their own set of laws. It's not going to be instant, and there are lots of people that are worrying that certain YouTubers, maybe even my channel, might be affected by this and I can't continue to do so. I have plans, and this is one of them. I want to expand the Twitch. I ideally want to find an agent. I just want to be able to try and find other works. That means I'm not just picking from the YouTube pie. That's all I've got to say about it. If you're worried about this whole article thing, I suggest you fact check everything that you can, and get up to speed. Because there's a lot of misinformation, and it's already been through the courts once. They've had to amend it, so that initial draft, it doesn't apply anymore, so don't worry about that for now. I have to get that off my chest. It's been worrying me for months. I suppose this really just stems from the fact that my family is a really creative one. I come from, like, 4 generations or so of creatives. And I suppose none of you really remember this or even know about this, so today I'm talking about my family, as it were. Like, just very briefly, just to give you an idea about where I came from. You see, I'm not the first person to kind of delve into post-production and editing. That honour goes to my grandfather, Victor Gover. And he was a very, very interesting man. He was born in 1908, and he made videos. He made a lot of B-movies, and they were thrillers as well. Some of them weren't exactly well reviewed, but he gave it a go. He edited on Steenbeck machines back in the day. He was a very big visionary, and he had an office in Wardour Street, and that's in central London. I remember just a couple of weeks ago for my birthday, we went out to lunch at a place called Itchy Buns, by the way. Really, really cool, and lots of cool figures from Japanese anime and stuff like that. It was really weird to think I was having lunch on the street that my grandfather worked on. That was really surreal. And even my uncle, he was a photographer back in the 60s and 70s, and he still is a keen photographer to this day, but he really liked to take pictures. He was offered many opportunities, and he showed me some of his photographs from back in the day, and they were remarkable. Like taking pictures of like John F. Kennedy when he was on tour across the world, with Haile Selassie and all these historic figures, and my uncle was part of it. That was fantastic. He gave it a go, and so did my grandfather. And even my dad, he set up a business of doing videography on occasion, as well as being a printing company. That's great. And even my brother, yes, I have a brother, he is a visual architect in CGI, and he is a really, really good artist. I'd show you some, but I haven't asked him yet. Maybe one day I can actually have a word with him and just show you some of his art. It's really good. And he's really modest about it too. Even my mum was a really creative person as well. So it really comes from both sides, my mother's side and father's side. She did a lot of voiceover back in the day, back in the 50s and 60s when she was just a little girl. That was really cool. And when I found that out, it made so much sense. My family is a bunch of creatives. And honestly, Philly is a creative too. She is an academic. I mean, she's got like loads of degrees, but she's also really creative too. As I said before, she came up with loads of ideas for the main channel, including Go Q&A, but she's not only smart, but she's also really good with art. And if there's one thing I admire in this world, that's artists. Because artists, you're really, really good. So I suppose really with my venture into YouTube, this is just the next step. My family has just really, branched out into different avenues, because my grandfather, he edited on Steenbecks, and that was relatively new to be able to have at the mid-tier level, be able to make your own movies. And someday I need to find the copy I have of one of his movies, maybe even upload it if I can. I'll have to see whether that's even possible. So you can see a little bit of the history of my family, the Gover, the Simpson family. It makes me really introspective that this whole YouTube thing, it's a response to the creative signs that we're going towards. Everyone's a brand, and everyone's like wanting to get themselves out there and be recognized. When I started, it was really not much of a thing. YouTube was certainly not monetizable. That concept was not even on our minds at all when we started doing a bridge series. We just wanted to make them. And I remember when we put out that first episode of Naruto Abridged, it was only like a few days after my 20th birthday. And I was sick when I recorded the lines. You might be able to tell, if you go back to the original Naruto Abridged, that I don't sound quite right in comparison to episode 2. Even that. I was sick. I didn't know any better. And I'd only been like voice acting for maybe, I don't know, less than a year? You can tell. I also remember doing a lecture for Philly's school about social media etiquette. And one thing that really stood out for me, and anyone who wants to like do anything on YouTube or any kind of social media, with greater subscriber or follower count, not that it matters really, but if you do have a presence, there's a lot of scrutiny, there's a lot of responsibility that you have to have. People look up to you, people watch your content, and people will take seriously or take to heart what you say. You have a presence. You're on a box, the soapbox, like think Life of Brian. You're on one of those pedestals and just shouting out your videos or your content. People listen. A lot of people that I got questions from afterwards, they were just thinking, oh, hey, Mr. Simpson, how do I make a rant video? That's already a misstep. Trying to go in there immediately and really appeal to the human emotion that is anger, that's just not right. If you want to be a creative or want to be on YouTube, just open debates. That's why I do my discussion videos. It's open debate. What I say isn't the be-all and end-all. And you can tell I get really passionate about this. And this isn't necessarily a rant. This is just me stating what's on my mind. And this has been a various rambling video, as it were, but, you know, it's just what I'm thinking right now. There are so many people and so many children and kids that want to get into YouTube, but they go about it the wrong way, wanting to be negative or anything like that. What's wrong with a little bit of positivity? My videos are just completely nerdy. I know a bit about Dragon Ball, so I want to share it with you guys. I do what ifs, so I want to share them. I wanted to come up with some kind of interim idea of doing my own original content. That's R&R. So who knows where we're going to go, and maybe some original content, maybe place it here. Who knows? Will the algorithm allow me to do so? Because anything that isn't a what if or a discussion gets relatively buried. That ain't right. How are you supposed to spread your wings as a creator if the platform that you're trying to be on kind of stifles you and segments and micromanages you into saying, you can only do these types of videos? And don't get me wrong, I love making those videos, I really do. They're so fun, and really, I find it a pleasure to work with Haverock on these things. But sometimes I want to just do some silly stuff, so therefore that's the second channel. It's not just silly stuff, but it's just stuff from the heart. Not just Masako, but from Lawrence. Quirky, be daft, be eccentric. But on the whole, just be a positive influence. And I know that may just sound like I'm really being pompous, but anyone who knows me in real life, I am a bit of a pompous fool. But, yeah, I mean well. I'm not trying to be arrogant, I like talking, as you might be able to tell. But I think that's all I've got to say on the matter. Thank you so much for listening, and if this has really inspired you or just made you want to say a comment, then do so. You know, healthy debate is, you know, part of life. So until next time, guys, I hope you're well, and one is glad to be of service.